Welcome. Welcome to this self-myofascial release meets Yin Yoga session. So I welcome you here from my mat, and just a reminder, we need our two balls. That could be myofascial release balls or tennis balls, and then you might want to have one or two yoga blocks handy. I also have a yoga blanket here, or you could use a bolster for those yin poses if you wish. All right, I would say gather your props and I will then meet you in a seat on your mat. Let's find a comfortable seat. We take a moment to arrive and to land here, placing one hand on the belly and one on the heart space. Notice the touch of the hands on your body. And then become aware of your breath. Breathing in, feel the hands gently lift. As you breathe out, the hands settle a bit more. A gentle, effortless breath in through the nose, out through the nose. And then taking your hands onto the knees, we're about to begin our journey. Let's take some super slow Sufi circles, spiraling the upper body around, making sure that you keep that contact of the seat on the earth as you take that upper body around in circles or spirals. Now feel free to change direction and go the other way around. Bringing it all back to that center line as you make those circles or spirals smaller, smaller, until you find your center. Taking a moment here. And then blink the eyes open if you close them. We will come into our first self-myofascial release technique, placing a block at the top end of your mat. So I have that block here on the second height, and I will place it directly in the armpit region. Therefore, I bring my left elbow down, lean over onto my left side. Now I leave enough space in the front and the back of that block so that I can now in a moment roll gently forward and back, and I won't roll off the block, so to say. Give yourself a moment to arrive, to sink in, and know that if that feels a bit too intense or tender, you can put a blanket over that block. And now from here, gently beginning to roll slightly forward and back. So I have here my right hand in front of me as a little support as I rock and roll forward and back, feeling into those tissues here. What can you feel in that posterior part of the shoulder there? So in the back, what can you feel in the front? Now we have that front corner of the block there, and that will now gently compress into that pectoral area, so the area of your chest muscles. So lean forward, create a little pillow with my hands or forearms, rest the head, and then notice how that feels on the left side of your chest. Allow the tissues to sink and soften, almost embracing the corner of that block. And slowly releasing that, finding your way back up, putting the block to the side, and find your way onto your belly for a moment. Again, here you can rest the head on folded hands or just on one cheek and take a moment. Notice how that left side of your chest, armpit area feels like. And now lift your head back up. That left arm comes all the way out to your left. The palm is down. Turn your head so you're looking to the right. Left ear on the floor. Right hand beside your ribs. And then roll that right side of chest, shoulder open. Right hip lifts, right leg floats behind you. So maybe that right foot is on the floor. Maybe you have that right leg long, or maybe you're stacking both knees like I show you here. You could also place a bolster or some support between the legs. Now for some of you, you might even take that right arm around the back and rest it there gently. Beautiful. Now this is where we will stay for a few moments to listen and feel what's going on the inside. Gently bringing that right hand back in front of you if you had it in your back. And super slowly rolling out back onto your belly, and take a moment in between. Letting go of that previous pose. And allowing the tissues to realign. Slowly making your way back up, coming into a comfortable seat. Now I chose a cross-legged seat here. Spine is growing tall. Now let's bring the pinky fingers and inner elbows to touch, chin to chest, and use the inhale to open those elbows wide to the side. Tucking in as you exhale, and breathing in as you open. Doing that one more time. Now this time around we'll find eagle arms, left arm under, right arm over. Now your eagle might look different to mine. Finding what works for you, and then gently shift elbows to one side as you're looking over the other shoulder. Then taking arms up and find a fold. Pause here. Feeling into those tissues around the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. Coming back up. And open those elbows wide. Hands find their way back onto the knees. A breath here. And now from here, we'll find the other side for our self-myofascial release here in that armpit area. Coming over onto your right outer hip. Bring your right elbow down, placing that block into the armpit, leaving enough space in the front of the chest as well as in the back behind you. So you can, in a moment, once you allow the body to sink into that support, start a roll gently forward and all the way back, taking your time. Remember, in myofascial release, we're gentle, less is more, and we listen. We listen to explore. Rolling forward and gently back behind you. Now that little corner here in the front on your block, let's use that again to compress into the tissues in that right pectoral area. Folding forward, resting the head on folded forearms. And notice how it feels on this side, that compression into the tissues. Notice the texture of the tissues that you compress, the ones surrounding that area. And then gradually release, making your way out and onto the belly. Giving those tissues a moment to rebound. Now from here, that right arm comes out to the right side, either straight out to the side or you have a bend in that elbow. Left hand besides your ribs. Turn the head so you're on your right ear. Roll that whole left side of the body open. Maybe left leg sits behind you long. Maybe bring the foot down. Or maybe stacking both knees on top of each other. I know that you can place something underneath the head as well if it's not easy for you to have the head resting here on the floor. And some of us place that left arm behind the back. Now, wherever you are, give yourself time to sink into this shape. Notice how that feels around the right side of the chest, inner arm. And then we give that a couple more moments, ourselves to simply be in this shape. Slowly releasing, left arm comes back out in front of you and you roll yourself back onto the belly, giving your body and mind a few moments in that rebound shape. One more round of breath here. And then making your way back up, coming into a comfortable seat. Now from here we will bring the pinky finger and inner elbows back in, tucking the chin, and use the inhale to open the elbows wide. Tucking in as you exhale, and then inhale to open. Doing that again, open up. And now this time, right arm under, left arm over for your eagle arms. Moving the arms to the right, the gaze to the left, and then changing sides. Lifting elbows up to the sky for a big breath in. And the exhale to fold in. Elbows coming closer to belly button. Pause. Feel. Coming back up and release the arms. Now we're coming into massaging the side seam of the thigh. That is a very tense area for some of us. The right leg swings behind you, and I grab one ball and I start closer to the hip on the outer seam of the thigh, moving down towards the knee. So first of all, start with that first place there by gently leaning the upper body forward and in. Notice if this is too intense, and if it is, grab a second ball. In fact, using 2 balls is best here, I think. Leaning in, finding another spot closer down towards the knee, maybe halfway down the outer thigh. Leaning in. Be gentle with your compression. Know that less is more here with myofascial release. And then here, bringing the balls further down towards the knee. Be reminded to not roll on joints or bones. We're still in the fleshy part on the thigh, on the side of the thigh. Leaning in. Now I'm going to revisit a place a little bit further up the side of the thigh. Now this is really an exploration. And release the balls. Leaning back a little as you bring the legs forward, and then windscreen wipe the knees from side to side. Coming forward now into that sleeping swan position, the left knee bend, the right leg behind you. Feel free to put something underneath your left sit bone, also using something for resting the head on or the hands. Feel free to bring the right knee out to the side for that deer shape. That's an alternative here if sleeping swan doesn't feel great on your body. If you're in that deer shape, you might want to bring the low legs further away from the body. I will stay with a sleeping swan here. Now you can land on your hands here on the forearms, using props to really support you here in this shape. And then once you found your yin shape or pose, allow yourself to settle. We're here for a few more moments. Gentle, effortless breath moving in and out the nose, hips heavy, belly relaxed. Taking a last round of breath here. And coming back up, I swing that back leg gently forward and roll myself all the way onto my back. A rebound is always a great time and space to feel the effect of the practice, the previous pose. Checking in with yourself. Now drawing that left knee up towards the chest, hugging that in. And then feel free to add any support you would like over onto your right side as you take that left leg across the body now. Now I rest my inner left knee on top of that block that I placed to my side. You could also have a bolster there. Or if this kind of a twist is not working well on your body, find a pose that feels good on your body. Maybe you're bending both knees and stack them. Maybe that top leg reaches out long. Different variations. Feel the shoulder blades sink and settle towards the earth. And with each breath, notice the space across the chest, running all the way into the arms and fingers. Gradually feeling into the fingertips. Start to gently move the fingers and bringing that left leg back over, taking a moment in between. Notice how it feels to return to center. And rolling onto one side. Making your way up, returning into that comfortable seat. From here, I draw my left leg back behind me. And I show you just the points that we use to compress the tissues in the outer right thigh this time. And I'll probably start with using 2 balls straight away here. So also you can come into that exploratory mode, placing the balls down quite close towards the hip on the outside of that right thigh, and then gently leaning in. Know that if something feels too intense, there's the option of placing a blanket over the balls. Finding another spot further down, maybe around halfway down towards the knee. And then I'm moving the balls even further down towards the knee. This here feels quite intense for me. So be gentle with yourself. Sometimes less is more, and in particular in a myofascial release setting. Might want to revisit a spot that needs a little bit more attention. And let's take those balls out. Swing the legs around, the feet are in front of you, the hands support you behind, and you just windscreen wipe the knees from side to side. Now I'm going to bend my right knee and swing that left leg behind me for that sleeping swan pose. Now if having left leg out long behind you is not working for you, remember you can draw that knee out to the side, coming into that deer shape instead. Also working on the hips. You might want to walk or move the feet or low legs a tiny bit further away from the body. Also supporting yourself here in a way that you don't need to hold the pose. You can sink into it. Now I slide my back leg into that sleeping swan variation. Rest my head here on a block. And then it's time to let go of the fidgeting. And now giving our bodies a few moments to settle. Feeling gravity drawing you down towards the earth. Now see if you can soften around the shoulders. Jaw relaxed. Just a couple more moments. Sinking into your hips. Taking another round of breath here. Feel that in the back of the body. And then coming back onto the hands, leaning to one side and bring that back leg around so you can roll back onto your back for your rebound. Eyes can close or you soften the gaze. Now notice the echoes of the practice, the sensations in the body. And drawing that right knee up towards the chest, hugging that in for a moment. Feel free to put any support out onto your left side to catch that knee as you bring that right leg across the body now into a twist. Now again, if this variation of a twist is not the right one for you, feel free to adjust. You can stack both knees, you can extend the top leg away from you, whatever is needed. Just making sure that the shoulder blades are sinking back towards the earth, the chest open and spacious. And then we settle, soften. Feeling the body sink and soften. A few more moments in stillness. And then slowly start to move into the fingertips. Drawing that leg back over, finding your way into a rebound shape. Body returning to center. Now allow the body to grow heavy. The earth is holding you quietly, patiently. There's nothing left to do. Let the echoes of your practice fade. Rest exactly as you are. Now gradually begin to deepen the breath, just enough to remind you of where you are in space. Feel the air moving in through the nose. Exhale all the air. And begin to move the fingers, maybe the toes. Slowly rolling over onto one side, doesn't matter which one. And then find your way into a comfortable seat. As you find your seat here, become aware of the body. Placing the right hand onto the belly, left hand onto the heart. Feel the breath move underneath your hands on the inside. Now we're going to place both hands over my heart and I say thank you for your time and your practice. Until I get to practice with you again. Take good care of yourself and be well.